This is the most bullish I've ever been about a project. The team is stacked. They've got a very considered and intentional roadmap, and the art is absolutely insane. Here are the 4 reasons why I'm so excited about Antonym, and you should be too. Number 1, the art. The art is amazing, and it's not just amazing in a subjective sense, it's very intentional. It's very clear with their mission and what they actually want to do. Now, let me break this down for you. The team were kind enough to kind of share me some of the concepts of how they actually got to the refined point that they're at now. Now, what they've actually done is they've taken their mascot, the bear, and what they've done is they've added a second head. Now, adding this second head, it's really intentional because it plays into collaboration. The idea that they can always have their mascot and another mascot. So it doesn't matter what brand or person they then work with, there is that second aspect or that second head to kind of play around with and work with. And the other aspect is even the body can be split up into a half-half. So you can then have half of the Antonym bear, but then you can have half of the collaborations item. So what this means is it means that they can build a sense of collaboration with the project that they want to work with or brand that they want to work with, and it fits in and it's congruent. So when they do a launch or a release, it fits in naturally. It works very well. When you start to think about collaborations in the real world, it's very easy to know what Supreme will do when they do a collaboration. You instantly know what they can do and how they would do it. The idea with this is they've got this blank canvas to be able to work with a collaboration. And this very thoughtful aspect when it comes down to it is one of the reasons why I'm bullish when it comes down to the art. And the other aspect when it comes down to the art is the fact that the shape and the texture of the item plays well into being wrapped. So covered with different prints, different brands. So it's very easy to see a high-end brand sort of essentially slap on their pattern and would fit very well when it comes down to this project. So that's why I'm really bullish on the art when it comes down to it. It's very thoughtful, it's very intentional, and it plays into what they want to do, which is brand collaborations in the future. Number 2, the collectibles. One word that pops up in their presentation is the word phygital, which is a combination of physical and digital. What they want to do is they want to bridge the gap between a physical item and a digital item. So when it comes down to the physical collectible, and I use that term intentionally because they don't refer to any of their stuff as merch, they consider it a collectible, which is a nuanced approach when it comes down to communicating value. So what they've actually done is they've actually had multiple factories in China build up and make out the models for the physical collectibles so they can find out what factory can actually produce it to the quality and standard that they want. And what they've said is that when they actually do this physical run, they're going to be over there in China to actually oversee the manufacture and production of them in person because they don't want to leave anything up to chance. They want to position this collection and the physical aspects when it comes down to it at a high standard. So they know the importance of overseeing this. So corners aren't cut so that the consumer and the people that are buying into the NFT and into this brand and ecosystem aren't left down. Number 3, the token and location. Now, when I say token, you usually kind of get a shudder because every single project has a token, but the way that they want to incorporate this utility into the NFT via the token is to use the token in the e-commerce store. But it's not just using the token in the e-commerce store. They plan to actually do a buyback with the profits and actually burn those tokens. What this means is it means that it then reduces the supply of the tokens. Value is added to the holders and the people that are actually kind of staking and getting those tokens. Now, this is what big exchanges like Binance do. So it makes sense that they're going to do this and not just go, hey, here's a token and you get free items with it. They actually want to incorporate that into an ecosystem with profits going from the project and the business itself into buying up and burning those tokens to then reduce the supply. Now, the other aspect with this is they actually want to have a retail store in New York City. And when I heard this, I was just blown away because it's very, very smart. What they want to do is they want to have a physical location where you can kind of buy the merchandise that they sell. And What they want to do is they don't want to just set this up in some corner somewhere. They want to get a high street. They want to get somewhere in a main location where they're near the Balenciagas, the Louis Vuittons, the Apple Store. They want to go where there's high traffic and there's lots of attention. And then when they actually do a season 2, season 3, season 4 drops, or exclusive collaboration drops, they will do them physical in-person drops where you need to actually be there to then get that NFT. The idea is that they're going to blend that aspect of fashion drops and sneaker culture where it comes down to lining up at a store and bring that into the NFT space. Now, when you extrapolate this, it means that if you're holding a Genesis piece, you're going to get all of the benefits of holding a Genesis piece. When they're doing a season 3, 4, 5 drop, and it's an in-person drop, when you've got a lineup of 100 people outside of the Antonym store, and you've got 3 people outside of the Balenciaga store and 2 people outside of the Louis store, you're then going to change the mindset and perception of what a brand value has. When no one's at the Louis store and no one's at the Balenciaga store and everyone's at the Antonym store, that is going to then push forward that brand and that aspect. People are then going to go, what is this? I need to have what that is. And if you've got one of these Genesis pieces, if you've got some of these Genesis collectibles, you're on the ground floor of what could be a bigger brand overall. And then the other aspect is they want to actually have an exclusive lounge for holders. So when there is NFT NYC, or even just throughout the year, if you're a holder, you can come in and hang out in the lounge. And they want to make it a high-end lounge, like an Amex type lounge. And the idea is that you're then going to be having sort of high net worth individuals, celebrities, people that want the NFT that can't get the NFT because it's a physical drop and they need to be lining up, and you're cutting the line and you're in that sort of VIP section. The idea that they're kind of playing into the exclusivity of the digital nature when it comes down to the NFTs and bringing that into the real world in a way that you can flex in a different way. This is where I kind of get excited, because they're thinking about this in a grand sense. They're not thinking about everything in just a purely digital sense, and they're not thinking about it in a purely physical sense, and they actually are trying to merge those two together. Now, number 4, the team. The team is absolutely stacked and super professional. Now, you've got Amon and you've got Ruben. Now, the thing about Ruben is you can actually see he joined in April 2019. So this isn't a new account that he's got. This is his actual account, and something that he's been holding onto. When we head over and have a look at his LinkedIn, we can see some of his past works here. Now, what you can see, Junior Project Manager at GDA Capital. And then GDA Capital actually works in the crypto space. So what they do is they assist sort of blockchain companies and companies just when it comes down to cryptocurrency, and assist them in sort of like strategic aspects, marketing aspects, all these types of different aspects to then ensure that companies that want to get into the space, or people that actually have a lot of net worth, they know what they can do when it comes down to it. Now, having a look at Amon, this is Amon's LinkedIn. Now we can see here, Head of Business Development at Influx. And then when we actually jump over and have a look at Influx, they've also got their own LinkedIn profile. And then you've got Influx. Influx is a viral marketing and VC for blockchain. So the idea is that they actually have the connections to actually run this up very fast, essentially turn the tap on and bring in a lot of awareness. And here are some of the recent projects that they've worked on. So when it comes down to Ruben and Amon, they're very knowledgeable in the cryptocurrency space. And this means that they've got the connections, but they also understand the mindset and the mentality when it comes down to it. They've actually executed on business before within this space. So they're not just artists that are actually trying to kind of kick that forward. And when it comes down to the artists, we've got Alexandra, and you can see his foundation profile here. So you can see some of his artwork. This one sold for 0.15 ETH. We've got some of his other aspects here. So you can see that he has actually made some art before. He's sold it before. So he's got a presence and a profile when it comes down to the sort of art space, which is good. Now, the other aspect when it comes down to art are those prints that then go onto the 3D models. And you've got Carlos Hernandez. Now, you can see the interesting aspects of the art here, and I actually really dig this kind of art. The fact that you've got an artist that's working on the print aspect, and then you've also got an artist that's the 3D artist. So the idea that they're bringing these artists together to then make a really good collaborative model, but then also the prints and the wraps that then go on the models themselves. And the artist quality, they've done some work before, which just adds weight and strength to the project. Now, here is the summary. The reason that I'm absolutely loving this project and I'm super bullish on this project is the fact that the team, Amon and Ruben, they actually sat down and gave me a presentation. This is the only project I've ever seen that's had a deck. And a deck is basically a slide presentation. They've walked me through the roadmap. They've walked me through how the art got to where it was. They've walked me through their plans. That's how I'm able to articulate what they actually want to do, because I heard from them firsthand. What they want to do is, when you get onto their whitelist, which is called the A list, what they do is they walk you through what they actually want to do. They're not handing out a whitelist so you can just make a quick flip. They're handing you that whitelist and educating you on why this project is bigger and better than you could have imagined. When you hear the emotion in their voice and the conviction in their voice, when it comes down to this presentation, what they're doing is they're selling you on the dream. They're selling you on what they want to do and what they want to achieve. And it's hard not to jump on that train and ride that out with them. Now, the other aspect about this is it means that if you can get on the A list, what this means is it means that all the other people that are on that list with you, they're less likely to be flippers. They're less likely to kind of just sell off, because they want to see this dream and this vision roll out and run up. The fact that they could have just launched very quickly and sold out. The art looks good and they've got enough influencer backing to kind of push that out if they want to, but they're not trying to do that. Their Discord's locked. They're being very secretive when it comes down to what they're actually putting out there, because they want this to be built organically. The only reason that I found this out is I thought the art was interesting. I DM'd them. I reached out and I said, hey, I want to kind of have a chat and kind of ask a few questions. They said, yeah, sure thing, jumped on a call and then showed this to me. This is something that I was intrigued about and I jumped into it. I know some other guys in the space as well are also doing the same thing. When we're doing our research, this is what we're doing. A note that really resonated with me is the fact they said that it's not unusual for a project to mint for 0.1 and deliver little more than a JPEG or a 3D model. And what they said is if you're in the high-end fashion world, if you spent 0.1 ETH on a t-shirt or something, that is insane amount of value, and the brand would give you so much more for that 0.1 ETH. But a lot of projects these days aren't giving you much for that 0.1 ETH, apart from a lot of promises. And what they're doing is they're trying to iron out the kinks before they make those promises to then ensure that they hold up their end of the bargain. The physical store and that physical aspect gives a sense of momentum and realness when it comes down to this project. The fact that they're going to have these physical collectibles that you get when you mint one of these Genesis pieces is really good. They're then going to have the tokens so they can kind of build into this ecosystem, so you can kind of stake, buy sort of collaborations and merchandise. And those images that you've seen throughout the video, they're actually from the deck themselves. They're very intentional with what they're doing, the words that they're using, and how they're actually moving in this space. They want this project to build in an organic nature, and they want people to discover it. They want people to get drawn into the narrative so that when they buy into this project, they're long-term holders and visionaries. The people that are buying into this project want to see it run out for decades to come and not just for this quick flip. The fact that these guys are moving in a way and in a space where they've got enough connections that I am not hesitant at all in jumping into this project. Now, look, obviously you need to do your own research, and I say that this is not financial advice, but everything about this project just has green ticks. Other YouTubers that I've spoken to are super bullish on this project. This project is just, it's done in a way that is different from everything else that you've seen. There are a few oddities out there when it comes down to projects that kind of do transcend what the NFT space is. And this is definitely one of them. This is one of those projects that it will become a blue chip because it's going to transcend not just NFTs, but it will bring in other people when it comes down to it. What they're doing is they're not building an NFT, they're building a brand. So that's why I am super pumped about Antonym, and I couldn't speak higher of the team and this project. So I hope you found value in this video. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It does help out with the algorithm, and it also lets me know what kinds of content you like so I can then produce more of those in future. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.